Yeah, he's got a little bit of turf toe, so we want to make sure. So we booted him up, probably 2-3 days.
How's Eshak done from the beginning? Kind of this opportunity. Eshak Williams.
He's getting there. He's getting there. The light is starting to go on. Had a couple of instances today where we had some one-on-one matchups with Troy Nicholas and Eshak Williams. Pretty exciting stuff. So he's getting there. He's got to do it consistently, but we know what he's capable of when it all starts to come together.
The right side of the line there, it seems pretty fluid there.
Yeah, it is.
Can you just comment on
Yeah, I'd say, you're looking at Golick, Christian, obviously Lombard getting work there, Tate. We think that 3 or 4 guys can mix into that, that rotation over there.
It seems kind of hand ready also.
Yeah. So I would I'd be willing to say right now you got 4 for 2 positions. So it's a very competitive and a good situation to have.
Fox and Calabrese, do you foresee kind of having similar rotation as last year where they're basically a tag team, or is there maybe one guy separating himself a little more, or a third guy even coming into the mix?
No, but Jared Grace is getting some work in there as well, and he's in the rotation. Joe Schmidt had a great practice for us on Monday. Very smart football player. No, I'd still say it's a very competitive battle, and I think Carlos got an opportunity to continue to press and play more. So we're just going to let that one go, because we know what we have, and let those guys continue to compete, and they've gotten equal reps over there, and then add Grace and Schmidt and Kendall inside. It's a nice competitive spring for us right now that we can play a lot of those guys and get good film on them.
I just also want to ask, previously it had always been a fullback, tailback, kind of 2-man backfield look.
When was that?
Well, maybe.
Lou, you're really dating yourself.
I know.
Okay.
With that slot running back / position there, is that kind of the new look of that fullback, tailback, maybe the potential 2-man?
Well, I think 2 things. I think the tight end now has become such a versatile player that he really takes up that fullback who really was a one-dimensional player. So now the tight end now becomes a multi-dimensional player that you could line up in the backfield. He could be in that position as well as that tailback. That tailback now has to be that multi-dimensional player because as the formation started to widen the field and spread the field, they needed to fit into more than one particular position. So I think you're seeing that both with the tight end position and the running back position.
And do you see that also with the slot guy, that he's that hybrid? Who can
Yeah, I think that's what my comments were, was that he's going to be more of that guy that can line up as a receiver and be able to handle both of those jobs.
Right. Robbie Tolman's been getting some reps with the running backs. What are you trying to accomplish over there?
Well, again, it's matching personnel. So it's not necessarily that Robbie runs the inside zone extremely well. It's matching personnel so we can move guys into different positions on the field. So again, it's just multiple formations that allow us to move the defense, and it might be just to move the defense in a position where it opens up a Tyler Eifert or it opens up something else. So it's not something that we would evaluate as he's in the mix to be one of the running backs. But because we've tagged the position as a slot receiver position, when the play call comes in and he's in the game, sometimes he'll find himself in that position.
He thinks he's a 20 carrier.
Yeah, well, if you talk to Robbie, first of all, it's great to talk to him anytime, but you're right, he thinks himself as a 20 carry guy.
Brian, you're a little bit more than a third of the way through. What have you learned from the quarterback race to this point?
Well, as I said, we have gone back to ground zero, if you will, and that's probably not a good analogy to use, but we're starting, at zero for our quarterbacks. We've gone back and taught the fundamentals. So nobody started ahead of the other quarterback. So now we're seeing progression from each one of them and picking up the things that we want. Look, let's make no mistake about it. The quarterback position when it's all said and done, will be the guy that takes care of the football. We turn the ball over way too many times. So he's got to be a guy that, we can trust that is not going to turn the football over. And I thought we did a better job of understanding that zero's an okay play.
You've been here for 3 springs, and you still have never really had a definitive quarterback just step up and seize that position. Is that, in your coaching history, has that always been a challenge to find a guy to just grab a hold of that, or is this a bit unusual?
Yeah, this is 22 springs for me. So there have been years where, we've had that consistent quarterback coming in, and then there have been years that we're teaching freshmen. So I enjoy the challenge. For me, the hour of meetings and the 2 hours on the field are the best 3 hours of my day. So I enjoy coaching those quarterbacks, and we'll get them to where they need to be. It's just the way it is at this time.
Do you see anybody
I
rising
kind of
up?
assume that Ben Quake is making the jump from kind of a spot player to an every down, almost like a 1A starter with Tyler. Has he made that much progress this offseason, and just how far has he taken his game from the end of last year?
I would say that he's a young man that is continuing to understand what we expect from him as a blocker. He has not gotten his game to the level as an inline blocker to where he's going to be a consistent player. Alex Welch is the same thing. Both are accomplished pass catchers of the football. That's not going to be them. It's going to be Tyler Eifert. So the battle at tight end really is who's going to control the edge and the line of scrimmage. And so you've got Nicholas, you've got Koyak, and you've got Welch and Golick, all wanting to be that guy. We've clearly defined their role. We don't need another guy out there. If you can catch it, that's fine. You better inline block, and you better control the edge of this defense. That's the guy that will be the next one in.
On the offensive line, a guy that seems like he's made a huge jump, talking to Coach Eason, is Lombard. What has he done this offseason to really kind of say he's the 4th starter, and you're still trying to figure out the 5th? But, I mean, what has he done to be that guy?
Pete, quite frankly, opportunity. He didn't have an opportunity. We were secure on that side with Robinson and Taylor Dever as a returning starter. So I think more than anything else, he's gotten the opportunity. We were very confident in his ability last year, but you had 2 senior starters coming back. So what he's done, he seized the opportunity, and he's got very good versatility for us as well, in that he can play guard and tackle.
Brian Goodman's a guy who's talked about a lot to make the most of this year. What have you seen from him so far week in practice?
Really, he's been, from a wide receiver position, he's been our go-to guy. He has stepped up his game considerably, and he's got a ways to go. But I expect him to do really big things for us. He's fast. He's one of the fastest guys on the team. He's got length. He can play, taller than the average defensive back. I think more than anything else is just consistency, with John. But he's going to have a really fine year for us.
Brian, just going off wide receivers, Daniel Smith, a local kid, where does he stand with you? What are you looking for from him this spring?
Well, I think it's pretty much an open competition over there. John has moved ahead at the W position, but as you know, we're moving them all over the place. We just want somebody that's going to give us a consistent performance day in and day out, and so that's still unfolding. The consistency for us will be as we work through camp. So it's just every day coming to work and giving a consistent approach. He doesn't have to do anything spectacular. We've just got to be able to count on them, and they're in the process of trying to get to that level.
Coach, with the quarterbacks, do you see somebody rising up, or does that change from day to day?
Well, it's, like today, we were going against drop 8, 3-man rush, drop 8. There's not a lot of things out there. Well, we were making sure that we kept the play alive. We didn't turn it over. And then when we saw our opportunity, we ran with the ball. And today we did a very good job with all the quarterbacks of not turning the football over in those long situations and running the ball. So that was a jump for each one of them. So each day we're staging different, tests for the quarterbacks, and that's why this is going to be a long process. We're not going to have this thing accomplished because we have not even got to the checks in our offense yet. There are no checks in yet. It's call it and play. So as you know, last year we ran so many checks that we checked ourselves out of plays. So just to give you a perspective of how far we are from even being able to say the quarterback is ready, we're not even there in terms of our system.
On the defensive line, how deep do you want to be able to go? How many guys do you want to say these guys are guys we can count on and they can play a lot?
We'd like to be at least 6, Too deep in a swing player, a guy that can play inside and outside is the ideal for us. So to play 7 on the defensive line is great depth, and we think that we can get there. We're giving guys a lot of chances to show that they can be, number 1. We're getting a lot of guys in the action.
What's your evaluation so far of punt return, kickoff return?
Well, we're just putting pieces together right now. We're not catching the ball. We're doing that as a separate drill where they're just working off the jugs. We're fundamentally making some changes within the punt team, both in coverage and punting. So a lot of it has been individual work. I couldn't give you an evaluation of the whole team yet.
Brian, can you talk about what it's like to work with Chuck Martin on the offense? Has it been what you'd hoped, and just kind of the synthesis there with you guys?
Well, I think it is because I taught him the offense. And so he only knows one offense. It's great because there's no knowledge base of him running, or working for 4 different coaches and 4 offensive philosophies. He's got one, mine. And so you can understand that those conversations are great. He's already saying the things that I would have said. And that's obviously where I wanted to be on the offensive side of the ball. We've eliminated any kind of confusion on the offensive side of the ball.
Last year, Blanton and Gray took the lion's share of snaps at corner. Do you see more of a rotation there, almost like the wheel linebacker position this year? Or are you...
Well, I can tell you Bennett Jackson's going to be a heck of a good football player for us today. Knowing what I've seen over the past 6, 7 practices, I feel really, really good about that position. I think the wide corner position, the field corner, is still one that will be competitive, though Lowood has had a nice spring. I think that one, there'll be a little bit more competition. Bennett Jackson's going to be a really good player for us.
Time for one more if there's one. Is Collinsworth close to really breaking into that starting lineup?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's going to be on the field a lot because once we go to 5 DBs, he's the 5th, and he's got a great chance of being the safety. If we move Jamoris into a nickel position at all, Austin's on the field. So you're going to see him on the field quite a bit. Thanks, guys.